Hello my friends and welcome back. First up, I just want to say I've been a little bit inconsistent here on this channel. This year I have been full of illnesses and just life is throwing itself at me, and this channel is where I have to kind of cut the slack a little bit. So I'm back today because I have just finished this notebook. She's a chunky little beast. Last year I did the monthly traveler's notebooks, and this year again life. I have seriously cut back on that, so I've been working on this notebook for a couple of months. I think I started it in March, and I've literally only just finished it yesterday. So March, April, May, sort of 3 months worth, and I didn't spend any amount of consideration about keeping it thin. I just did layouts that I wanted to do. Generally I was working outside the notebook and then popped them back in here, especially towards the end, because it made it very difficult for filming. The fair majority of these layouts do have process videos, but in general they are over on my Patreon. So if you're interested at all in joining up, I will leave the link in the description for you. I mean there's well over 100 videos there at the moment, and that tends to be where I show up most often. So let's just get started. Now this first layout is actually the last one that I finished, but I wanted to do 2 yesterday, and this was the last spread that I have in here. So I don't work start to end. I just kind of work as I go, and generally I leave this front spread spare for putting dates in, which I haven't done. So this was actually the first layout in this notebook. So we're starting a little bit backwards. This was a printable from my actual Patreon. This was a June printable, and I used my June couple of different challenges. The kind of product challenge was to use florals, which I've used these Pink Fresh Studio stamps and stencils. It incorporated the mood board challenge, and also a color challenge, which was a monochromatic. So not a whole lot of color in this particular layout, and that doesn't happen very often. So now back to the start. Like I said, I started this notebook in March, and in March I decided that I would create a few little stash kits, but my stash kits were going to be geared towards traveler's notebooks rather than project life spreads, and so a lot of the layouts in here are using those kits. In fact, they're still sitting here in a little box right in front of me, very handy to use whenever I need them. I think I made 3. They all were kind of different, like based off different paper pads, really, to use up a few of my older paper pads. So this one is a little bit of a sweet story. This cut file is from Paige Evans. I'm pretty sure it was a freebie in her newsletter towards the start of the year. Might have even been at the end of last year. I had that pulled out and planned to use it for a really long time, and finally did. Apart from backing the cut file, I didn't do a whole lot. I used some splatter stamps on the back before I adhered the cut file, and apart from that, it's literally just a few little puffy stickers and a couple of tiny word stickers on a full page photo. So one of the things when I did my like 15-minute or 10-minute challenges for this traveler's notebook spread last year, one of the easiest ways to get a quick spread done is to have a full page photo. So there's a lot of those in here. This was another little page from one of those stash kits. This was a bit more of a neutral page, and I haven't put a lot of kind of coffee spreads in here because I do have a separate coffee life crafted album, but this one I thought was a little bit of a cheat because it wasn't coffee, it was a chai latte, so I popped that in here. Kept things again really simple, so I added pattern paper onto the left hand side, but I really wanted to stamp a very large title on here, which I've done, and I've been obsessed with these splatter stamps because I'm just not a splatter person. I love the look. I do not love letting go of control and just splattering away. So the splatter stamps have become my go-to. I've got one from Uniquely Creative, and I think the other one I've got is from Wintertime Crafts, and I've been obsessed the entirety of this year. Another full page photo, just again to make this super quick. This was actually part of another challenge that I did where I created a memory decks card first, and let me see if I can find it. This is my scaled back yearly project this year, which is to do a couple of little memory decks cards every month, and this is the one that I created and then scrap lifted to create my traveler's notebook page. So that was a fun kind of way, because I often get asked, like, well, what's the point with the memory decks cards? And the point for me is that they're just a fun little quick creative exercise. I love making them, but it really is easy to kind of adapt the things that I'm doing on those cards into other projects, and this was one of those. Here's the same kind of neutral kit that I pulled back out again, and using a whole bunch of strips of paper because the papers that I had didn't quite fit across this whole page. This was a sketch challenge, so on my Patreon I do 3 or 4 challenges every single month, and this was a sketch challenge from, it might have been March, April or March. Another cute little page for when Pearly came home. I mean, mostly based on the fact that I had this little Rosie Studio sticker here, so I know she's not exactly an orange cat, but I don't have a lot of cat stickers. This one had to go on here. This is a page I've done just recently. I've kind of been, well, here in the Southern Hemisphere in New Zealand, I was going to say we're heading into autumn, but we're well and truly past autumn. We're heading into winter, so I've been kind of drawn to these warmer, more autumnal colours, but I don't often use them because I'm not like a massive fan of orange and neutrals, which, you know, you wouldn't necessarily think that from this notebook, but I'm just not. It's obviously goes to show I've kind of been drawn towards those colours a little bit more. So I did, this was another sketch challenge from Patreon. Did this one just recently with a couple of unrelated, other than being autumn photos. This is a little peek at a project I've done for Rosie Studios. This is using the Keeping Cool collection. There are some really cute little ice cream stamps in that collection, and I really wanted to do some repeat stamping. So basically I repeat stamped my page first and then kind of made a way to make a page out of it. We haven't had a whole lot of ice cream this year, but this one is my favorite one from Frosty J, a little sherbet, well, sherbet cone, but I don't have a cone, I have it in a cup. It's fantastic. So perfect for the kind of colors in this page. It was a super quick one to put together, and I kind of love it. I mean, this is more my kind of color scheme. This is the other page that I just did yesterday. So again, these two pattern papers are printables from my June freebie. I added a couple of stamps from Doodlebug Designs. I love their Pretty Kitty collection. A few little enamel dots and a photo of Miss Pearly, who has discovered my craft desk and is definitely keen to get up to some mischief. This was a fun page I put together using some Veronica Creates printables. This was a long weekend way back in April, and I kind of used the printable as kind of a, I don't know, a to-do list for things to do during that long weekend, and it was surprising how many that I could actually fit in there. I did scale up a couple of the 3x4 cards to make Traveler's Notebook sized pages, and then added a few printables, little embellishments, and then just a couple of puffy stickers and some wee pearls to make it a little bit more kind of real. This is another page from one of my kits, and I was really just trying to use up some of the, what's it called, Willow Lane ephemera pieces that I had left. I still haven't quite used them all, just about have used them all. And so I kept the rest of the page pretty simple, just with the white background, because I don't have a whole lot of the pattern paper left. I only had enough to do a little strip through the middle, and then added a photo and some journaling. These have got splatters as well, but these ones aren't the stamp. These ones are just hand drawn with a gel pen. And last page in here, again, this is another printable from Patreon, and I think I used a sketch as well, but just another really, really simple page with little Miss Pearly, adding a whole bunch of texture with some fringed vellum and some sequins, and again, like some big, thick, puffy foam thickers, so I wasn't worried about kind of thickness in this notebook. But I love this one, love the bright colors, but again, orange. So I don't know what I'm talking about when I say I'm not a fan of orange. Clearly I'm tending that way. And that's it. That's not a huge amount to achieve in 3 months, but I feel pretty pleased to have finished it, and now I'm about to make myself a new one so that I can carry on. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you've got any questions. If you want to check out my Patreon, I will leave the link below in the description box. And otherwise, I will see you again really soon. Bye.